This story is brought to us from mynewsla.com. And this is a story that they've been talking about here on the local news all week. It's out of Riverside, California, where a family of 3 whose bodies were found in a burning home in Riverside were remembered at a community vigil a day after the suspect was identified as a former Virginia State Police employee. They're claiming that he was a law enforcement officer there in Virginia State. Now, the suspect was fatally wounded by sheriff's deputies in Needles, California. He was identified as 28-year-old Austin Lee Edwards, a resident of North Chesterfield, Virginia. During the Saturday night vigil, neighbors told ABC7 the 3 were a husband, a wife, and the couple's youngest daughter, who lived at the home in the 11,000 block of Price Court. They were said to be a neighborly family and went out of their way to help the community. Now, the victim's information was released Sunday night by Riverside Police Department. They include 69-year-old Mark Winneck, 65-year-old Shane Winneck, and their youngest daughter, 38-year-old Brooke Winneck. A GoFundMe account was set up in their names. You can read this story in the description box below if you click that link. But meanwhile, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department confirmed to City News Service the suspect died in a lethal force encounter with those deputies Friday in Needles, California, and that the shooting was connected to the Riverside Police Department's investigation of the deaths of 3 people found apparently murdered inside the burning home of Riverside. The circumstances have not yet been released. They're still investigating the circumstances of the shooting. But they said it's a multi-agency investigation and it's taking time to sort through and confirm all the details, according to San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. They got to get their narrative right. But you know what? If this guy's a murderer, well, good riddance. The earth is better off without him. Riverside police were dispatched shortly after 10:30 a.m. Friday regarding a report of some type of disturbance between a man and a woman near the home on Price Court, said Officer Ryan Railsback of the Riverside Police Department. I wonder if he's related to Steve Railsback, who's an actor. Interesting. Now, while officers were on their way, we got other calls of smoke and fire being seen, said Railsback. He added that it took firefighters a few minutes to put the fire out. Firefighters found the 3 people, a man and 2 women, dead inside the home. Railsback said there was clear evidence the victims did not die as a result of the fire. And it appears the reason we went out to the call, the man and woman may have left in a vehicle. Now, the woman involved in the original disturbance call was taken into law enforcement custody at some point, said Railsback, and that police were not looking for any more suspects. Of course, the other guy was dead. He said this whole thing is complicated and it's going to take a lot to unravel, and it's still unraveling, and it's going to take a bit of time. So there was a man and a woman. They leave. They find these 3 bodies. They take the woman into custody later, and the man we know was in a shootout with deputies out in Needles. All in all, I'm going to let you guys kind of, stew this over, but the bottom line it goes back to, and I don't know, it just bugs me that this guy was a Leo in Virginia, and here he is. You know, I know that all walks of life, every occupation, every ethnicity, every description of human, we have criminals, murderers, rapists, thieves, whatever. But it bugs me when it's somebody that wore or wears a badge. Because the first thing I think is, how many other crimes did this Austin Lee Edwards commit with his badge on before he's suspected of committing these murders? And we may never know because, well, he's left this planet. Like I said, if he's a murderer, good riddance to him. We don't need him.